The number one question I've gotten on my videos is, well, who did you vote for? And the answer has clearly surprised many of them. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm what's called an econocrat. This essentially means I vote solely on which candidate has the best economic policy for the working class. But there's no econocrat party, so who am I actually voting for? Today, I'm looking at the actual record from 1980 till now of Republican and Democratic presidents. Who's winning for your wallet and who's falling short? Why should you care? Because macroeconomics touches your daily life. Jobs, wages, prices, savings. And even though the president doesn't control everything, patterns do emerge once you track decades of data. One big finding, according to the studies, and you can find all the links to my sources in my comments, the economy tends to perform better under Democratic presidents on growth, job creation, and unemployment than under Republican ones. That doesn't mean Republicans are always bad or Democrats are always good. Context does matter. But the patterns give us something worth talking about, especially when so much campaigning spins the "we'll fix the economy" line. Let's dig into the numbers first. Here are some headline stats. On average, real inflation adjusted GDP growth under Democratic presidents is about 4.3%, while under Republicans it averages around 2.5%. Job creation is markedly different too, roughly 2.5 times faster under Democrats than under Republicans. Even if you go all the way back to Truman, the 7 Democratic presidents oversaw the creation of 70.5 million jobs, while Republican presidents only saw 29.1 million. Those Democrat presidents were in office 429 months, adding 164,000 jobs a month, while the Republican presidents were in office for 475 months, averaging just 61,000 jobs a month. Unemployment. Under Democrats, the unemployment rate tends to fall. Under Republicans, it tends to rise. That being said, each Democratic president since 1980 inherited a recession, which typically has significantly higher rates of unemployment. Which brings us to recessions. 10 of the last 11 U.S. recessions began under Republican presidents. The significant ones here are the stock market crash of 1987, a Bush senior recession from July 1990 to March 1991, the housing crisis under Bush in 2007 and 2008, and the COVID recession, which began on February 20th, 2020. A full 9 months before the election and 11 months before Biden took office. So what gives? Before you reach conclusions, let's explore what these numbers mean and what they don't. First, correlation doesn't equal causation. Studies say the stronger performance under Democrats is not obviously because of more expansionary fiscal policy or because Democrats inherited better economies. In fact, most inherited terrible economies. Next, what this means for you. If you're an everyday worker, you might think, does it matter which party's in charge? If the pattern holds, yes, on average the economy is doing better with one party than the other. But remember, averages hide variation and crisis years. Take, for example, under Ronald Reagan, a Republican from 1981 to 89, the unemployment rate fell from 7.5% to 5.4% during his first term, yet he inherited a severe recession and oil shock. By contrast, under Bill Clinton, a Democrat from 1993 to 2001, you had a long run of expansion, job creation, and falling unemployment. So what do you take from this as a voter, as a worker, or as someone just watching your next paycheck? A few implications. Don't buy the slogan alone. Saying you will fix the economy is much different than actually doing it. Look for how the candidate deals with jobs, wages, productivity, and investment, not just tax cuts or deregulation. 2, pay attention to how policy interacts with the global economy. Trade, tech, and energy shocks matter a lot. Number 3, look for structural trends. Are wages keeping up? Are new jobs real jobs? Are we factoring in long-term debt, inflation, and deficit risks? In other words, one party may have better historical averages, but your personal outcome depends on which policies they adopt, what global conditions they face, and how resilient your community is. That means stay informed and don't just rely on who I trust with the economy. Ask, how does their plan match the evidence and the track record? So I have always voted for Democratic presidents, but I've only voted straight Democrat in 2 elections, as far as I can recall. The reason I vote this way is that there has never been an econocratic candidate, and Democrats have had significantly better outcomes in economics than Republicans. Drop a comment right now. Which president do you feel got the economy right and why? I'll dive into the replies. If you want more boots on the ground takeaways from how economic policy impacts you, Follow the show Roughly Speaking on Rough Cut Media Network. We're on YouTube. More boots, less suits. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.